In a world where the spotlight often shines on physical appearance, a silent yet profound struggle lurks in the shadows. Body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD for short. This often misunderstood and underdiagnosed mental health condition affects a significant portion of the population, yet it remains shrouded in stigma and misconceptions. BDD is more than just an obsession with one's appearance. It's a complex psychological disorder that can profoundly impact an individual's life, relationships, and mental well-being. Welcome back to Savvy Psychologist. I'm your host, Dr. Monica Johnson. Every week on this show, I'll help you face life's challenges with evidence-based approaches, a sympathetic ear, and zero judgment. Body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD, is characterized by a preoccupation with one or more perceived defects or flaws in physical appearance, which are not observable or appear slight to others. The DSM-5-TR outlines specific criteria for diagnosing BDD. These criteria include preoccupation with perceived flaws. In body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD, the perceived flaws that individuals obsess over can vary greatly and are often very specific to each person. These flaws are usually imagined, or if they do exist, are typically slight and not noticeable to others. Here are some examples of perceived flaws that people with BDD might focus on. Facial features. Concerns about the size or shape of their nose, the size or symmetry of their eyes, lip size, whether that may be thinness or thickness, depends on the culture, and symmetry. Additionally, overall facial symmetry may be a factor that someone obsesses about. Skin appearance. Obsessing over the presence of minor scars, acne, wrinkles, or perceived issues with skin texture or tone. Hair. Worrying excessively about hair thinning, baldness, hair texture, or the amount of body or facial hair. Body weight and shape. Preoccupation with certain body parts, believing they are too large or too small, such as thinking one's thighs, stomach, or buttocks are too big, even when they appear normal to others. Muscle size and tone. In some cases, particularly in males, there may be an excessive concern about muscle size and definition, feeling that their muscles are inadequate, a condition sometimes referred to as muscle dysphoria. Symmetry. Concerns about body symmetry, where an individual believes that one side of their body or a specific body part is not symmetrical with the other. Breasts or genitals. Fixation on the size or shape of breasts or genitalia, often believing that they are misshapen or disproportionate. Concerns about the appearance of teeth, such as their color, alignment, or size. Another major part of BDD is repetitive behaviors or mental acts. At some point during the course of the disorder, the individual performs repetitive behaviors. For example, mirror checking, excessive grooming, skin picking, or reassurance seeking. Or mental acts, for example, comparing their appearance with that of others, in response to their appearance concerns. Other repetitive acts may be seeking cosmetic procedures. However, there is little satisfaction to be gained from these actions. When I watch shows like Botched, and there are folks who've had 30 cosmetic surgeries, and they keep wanting to tweak a little thing here and a little thing there, I get worried that there may be some BDD at play. Now, I know that all of us have our beauty and body issues, but this is different. BDD is more than just an insecurity or dissatisfaction with one's appearance. It is a serious mental health condition that requires professional diagnosis and treatment. Individuals with BDD often have a distorted view of their appearance, and can spend a significant amount of time obsessing over perceived flaws, which may lead to severe emotional distress and impact daily functioning. Additionally, they may avoid social situations, photos, or mirrors due to the distress about appearance. Now let's talk about some of the stats and demographics surrounding BDD. Prevalence. BDD is estimated to affect about 1 to 2% of the general population. However, the actual prevalence may be higher due to underreporting and underdiagnosis. Gender distribution. BDD affects both men and women, with some studies suggesting a roughly equal distribution among genders. However, the specific concerns and areas of focus for body dissatisfaction may differ between genders. Age of onset. BDD often begins in adolescence, a critical period for the development of self image. The average age of onset is typically in the late teens. Comorbidities. Individuals with BDD frequently suffer from other psychiatric disorders as well. Common comorbidities include major depression, anxiety disorders, and obsessive compulsive disorder. Suicide risk. The disorder is associated with a high risk of suicidal ideation and attempts. The rates of suicide attempts among individuals with BDD are significantly higher than in the general population. In fact, evidence indicates that approximately 80% of individuals with BDD have had suicidal ideation at some point in their lives, and 24 to 28% have attempted suicide. These statistics highlight the significance of BDD as a serious mental health concern that requires greater awareness, understanding, and access to effective treatment. Unfortunately, despite its severity, many individuals with BDD do not seek treatment. This can be due to shame, lack of awareness about the disorder, or misdiagnosis. That means that if you or someone you know may be suffering from BDD, send them this episode and encourage them to seek treatment. Another thing that you may want to advise them to do is limit the amount and monitor the type of social media consumption that they engage in. Social media has a significant impact on body dysmorphic disorder, both in terms of potentially exacerbating symptoms and influencing the prevalence of the disorder. Here are some key ways in which social media affects BDD. Comparison and idealized standards. Social media platforms are filled with images that often represent idealized, edited, and sometimes unrealistic standards of beauty and physical appearance. Constant exposure to such images can lead individuals to unfavorably compare their own bodies with those they see online, potentially exacerbating preoccupations with perceived flaws. Increased preoccupation with appearance. The visual and interactive nature of social media can lead to an increased focus on personal appearance and body image. For individuals with BDD or those predisposed to it, it can trigger or worsen obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors related to their perceived physical imperfections. Filter and photo editing effects. The widespread use of filters and photo editing tools can distort a person's perception of their own appearance. This can be problematic for those with BDD, as it can create unrealistic standards of beauty and exacerbate their dissatisfaction with their real appearance. Validation seeking and social feedback. Social media platforms often encourage seeking validation through likes, comments, and shares. For individuals with BDD, the pursuit of validation and fear of negative judgment regarding their appearance can intensify their symptoms and reliance on social media for self-esteem. Increased anxiety and depression. Studies have shown that excessive use of social media is associated with increased levels of anxiety and depression. Since BDD is often comorbid with these mental health issues, social media use can indirectly exacerbate BDD symptoms. Social isolation. While social media theoretically connects people, it can also lead to social isolation. For those with BDD, the combination of social media use and the tendency to withdraw from real world interactions can compound feelings of loneliness and dissatisfaction with one's appearance. We all love our Instagram and TikTok feeds, but it may encourage you to hate yourself. One study showed that TikTok is detrimental to body image, with usage being positively associated with body dissatisfaction. Remember that when you jack into the matrix, you are comparing yourself to the entire globe. That's billions of people. I don't even like seeing my place on the leaderboard in a spin class of 12 people. And y'all are out here really trying to keep up with the Jolies, the Berries, the Kardashians, and The Rock. It may feel normal to pursue what you perceive as physical perfection, but not if it comes at the cost of total mental meltdown. Here are a few practical ideas to help with your social media overload. Turn off alerts on social media apps. These alerts encourage you to be on the app more than you would likely choose to be on your own volition. Pay attention to the amount of hours you spend daily on these apps. I suggest that people give themselves a time limit. The same way you wouldn't want a child on these apps 10 hours a day, you shouldn't be either. Many phones track this and let you know about your habits. You can set a goal to reduce the time. Monitor the types of content you're watching and how you feel before, during, and after. That may cue you into some of the immediate effects. Am I a 22-year-old and watching 8 hours of anti-aging videos on TikTok per day? Do I find that I hyper-focus on perceived imperfections after watching these videos? Maybe I should reduce my consumption of this type of content, as it's unhelpful to me overall. These are simple strategies that can get you started on having a healthier relationship with social media and hopefully a healthier relationship with yourself. Did you know about BDD before today? You can contact me via Instagram at KindMindPsych or via my email at psychologist@quickanddirtytips.com. The Savvy Psychologist is a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast. It's audio engineered by Steve Rickyberg with script editing by Brandon Getchis. Our podcast and advertising operations specialist is Morgan Christensen. Our digital operations specialist is Holly Hutchings. And our marketing and publicity associate is Davina Tomlin. Follow Savvy Psychologist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. That's all for this episode of Savvy Psychologist. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.